That song from the Four Horsemen. Nobody said it was easy. Life, the life of a full-time or even a part-time musician. For that matter, a full-time worker, charitable marketing director, and hopeful struggling YouTuber with a family and friends. Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radios of Sound Minds. Obviously, the title is meant to be sarcastic. This is episode 4 of Sound Minds. Well, this is where we pick a topic, let our panelists let them loose on it. And tonight's topic, ticket prices for music shows. What's really going on? What is the real effect? Just a few months ago, the CBC article stated the following, that there's not going to be a ticket price break on the horizon anytime soon. Rising costs associated with venues, transportation, oil prices, ticket agency, resellers, growing posses that go around the band, entourages are on the rise. It's just out of control. Just a few pricings in the showcase of variety musical acts. Let's take a look at Lady Gaga. Her lowest ticket price in Vegas is actually $150, but you're going to be seated in the bathroom. Drake is averaging $493 a ticket. What? U2 in Vegas, average ticket $502 a seat. Now wait a second there. Let's compare those two. I think one's got a lot more going on than the other, and you're only paying a few more dollars more. You may want to trade in your Drake tickets. Then there's Taylor Swift, $900 on average. But she's not number one. Does anybody know who's number one? Any clue? Adele, $1,011 on average ticket.
Yeah, but is that face value or is that secondary market?
Well, there's another discussion all in itself, right? Yes, I'll get to that on my ramble at the end. So eat your heart out, Barbra Streisand, Madonna. This is like Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player to ever play professional hockey. At the most, he made $6.5 million. Now, a half a moron makes $6.5 million. All right. He can't, there's people that don't even have half the points he gets in a season that are making double what he made. Out of control? You decide. But like trading cards, it's all about getting someone to pay for it, right? And well, we all know there's people willing to pay to see. Ticket prices yesterday, today, tomorrow. Hey, and speaking of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, well, yesterday we had 100 subscribers. Today we got 99. Someone keeps jumping on and off the bandwagon, but we're not keeping track. Yes, we are keeping track. People think about subscribing to the channel, please do, because today it's only $1 a day. And you can send your check and money order to My Poor Ass Concert Fund, Beyond Your Radio, 27 Swanson Terrace, Buffalo, New York, 14221. We take loony, but I think you already knew that if you've been watching the show. Always appreciative of those of you that are paying attention, subscribing, and watching, all 25 of you. Let's introduce the panel tonight because, hey, that's what I love to do more than anything. His first show cost him 2 whole fried chickens and a Coke, the Grateful Dude. He's the man who has all his ticket stubs as proof that the ticket prices were much excellent back in our time rather than they are today. Jeff Young. She's been collecting pop cans, beer bottles, metal shrapnel, scraps, so she can see the Foo Fighters play Red Rocks in at least 2025. Susie Q. And unfortunately not, apparently, in case he joins us suddenly, if he joins us, his dream scalping moment is 2 tickets to see the Pope, center pew with Judas Priest opening, Alex Kaluzny. Welcome to the show, panelists. I'm already charged each of you $100 for your Zoom position, so make the most of it. Grateful Dude, let's start with you.
Yeah, always start with the old people. Anyway, this is a very interesting topic, and I have a lot to say, but I'm not going to be trying to be too long-winded. So let me get to the most relevant part. So sometime last week, Mark calls me, and do you know the Dead and Company are playing their last show in Vegas? I said, what? I haven't heard a word. And I was completely blown away. So as soon as I got off the phone, I started looking for tickets. And yeah, I found them. Okay, so I'm going to Dead in a month. But let's talk about the reality here. So my first Grateful Dead show was in 1969 at the Fillmore. I don't have the target ticket stuff, but I looked it up just to make sure it's right. I paid $18, general seat. Okay,
That's pretty pricey for 69.
yeah, it was. That's what I was trying to say. It's almost lavish, but I've never paid.
It includes the cover charge.
Huh?
Yes, it includes.
There was no cover charge. There were no fees.
Right, no fees.
That's a whole different ball game now. You know, you pay $150 for tickets, and then they add $70 for fees. What the frick is that? Yeah. So anyway, to get to the bottom, I know you're all waiting for what I paid. I've got average, just better than average seats for $250 each, and that is not a resale price. That is because I don't buy resale tickets. Yeah. So, am I happy with it? Absolutely not. Do I want to see? This could be the last time I ever see the Dead. So would I want to? So we'll see how it goes. It could be interesting, and I could walk out halfway fun and said, "Well, how the fuck did I waste my money?" But we'll see. But Mark was saying something earlier, and this is where I'm gonna play slight devil's advocate here. So in 1970, I went and saw the Allman Brothers and the Dead together. I paid $26 to go see them. At that time, I was in high school or just finishing high school, and I was working at Zig's Ton and a Bun for $4 an hour. And that was 30 cents above minimum wage. So I was scoring every time. But if you think about it, so that ticket cost me just a day and a quarter of work. But if you think right now that the average person probably makes $20, maybe a little bit more an hour, if you times that by 8, that's $160. You can get a lot of tickets, still get tickets for $160, $180. So has it gone up that much? Not really. Inflation, I think, has killed everything. Because as Mark alluded to earlier, you have gas, the transportation, venue, everything. But back then, most bands only had sound system and a light system, and that was it. Now you got sound, light, computers, all the freaking screens everywhere. All that costs money. And does it make the show better? I don't know. That's probably another topic, you know. But so I understand. I don't like it, but I understand why the prices are so heavy. You know, I don't even believe the bands even make as much as we all think they make. I'm sure they do okay, but you know, when you got 70 roadies and 50 light and sound guys working, they got to be making something. It's not that they work for free, because I don't think anybody works for free. So, except for Mark. So, but
it's going to turn into it's going to turn into sports. And touring in Florida, welcome to the Tropicana Metallica tour. When you go to Idaho, welcome to the Bob Evans Potato Tour Metallica.
But so I'll end this quickly. I understand why the prices are high. Do I like it? No. I wish somebody, even the Dead, sold out for years. But they're not really the Dead anymore. But they used to
undead.
They're all dead. Yeah. Well, at least a few of them. So, yeah. But so for the Grateful Dude, I find it a very sad thing, because a lot of people now, when I was young, almost everybody could afford to go to a concert. Everybody, from the dishwashers to now, to get a decent seat for any of these people. And Mark, you named some ones, but I've been looking at prices in Vegas right now for certain bands. Frickin' Garth Brooks. I want to see him. I really do. But I'm not paying $500 for back row seats. It's just not going to happen. Carrie Youngwood just played the Shell and sold it out with a minimum price tickets with $450 for the back section. For the front orchestra section, $1,500 to $2,500.
Here's what I do now. Now that tickets are pretty pricey, I just got a ticket to go see who was it? I'll think about it. Anyway, I can't remember now. Anyway, what I do is if I'm going to buy a ticket and it's out of my price range, I make sure I pick somebody who I know is going to sell, that's popular. Like with Phil Collins, I went to see Phil Collins. I bought 3 tickets, sold 2 of them for the price of 3. I went for free, and just because it was $14 for a beer, I'm like, what do I care? I got here for free anyway. But you can't do that with every show, because a lot of the shows you like, they're not going to sell it because there may be a newer band, or there's more bands now, more artists that we see because a lot of them last a lot longer. And I don't know, the whole experience now, it's so much easier now to go on your phone and just get in line, or maybe you sign up for a credit card so you get into an earlier line, or you got to join the fan club. But now, when I was a kid, it was like I woke up at 5 a.m. I'd drive to the mall, to the one store that would sell the tickets at Ticketron or something. You'd sleep in your car to be first one in line because you wanted to get the first 5 rows. I remember there was times where I'd get there, somebody was ahead of me. They brought their own roll of tickets and they passed out 1, 2, 3, so everyone could just leave and come back, and just everyone was really cool about it. It was awesome.
Now, what the state of Hawaii has done over the last 4 years to stop that, and it's a very good process. For the first 24 hours when a band goes on sale, okay, you have to have a Hawaiian address to be able to buy tickets, period. And you only 5 per address. So I'm sure the companies have hundreds of people calling with different addresses. That's how, because it still happens where certain companies are buying big blocks of tickets. Mm-hmm. But for the first 24 hours here, they've tried to limit that. So, and speaking about tickets, a lot of the tickets when I was young, really young, when I was 15 to 20, were sold only at the shows. The Dead's first dozen or 2 dozen show, you didn't buy a advance. You showed up and hoped the hell there was tickets. Yeah. It was festival seating. They put twice as many in as you have seats anyway. So, and
that's a good way to avoid service charges too, even later, because if you knew you go into the club, they had their own tickets, their own block, where they're printing them themselves. Then you didn't have to pay extra money to Ticketmaster or whoever was selling it. You just stop by when they're open, grab one, and then you got it.
Well, I went to the Blaisdell when I saw a show a couple of years ago and bought them at the box office, and they still charged me a $40 processing fee.
Dang.
So it's ridiculous. Okay, Mark, take it to somebody else. I'm tired.
Okay, so in that search that I left out because I wasn't sure whether the Grateful Dude was going to pontificate to this, but I have this thing about that Gretzky and comparison to these other people, right? So you had Garth Brooks in there, you had Drake, you had U2, and their prices. Elvis Costello was, what was he, $400, $500?
Yeah, I couldn't get a seat. So
no.
I mean, the best way to do that, if you don't tour that much, or you're touring very little, or you're getting towards the end, like the less opportunity you think you're going to have to see, the more you're willing to pay.
That's right.
I don't even think his wife would pay $500 to see him. I mean, come on. It's not worth it. I don't know. I
happen to love Costello's wife.
I'm not saying anything about the worth of the player. It's the idea of a concert at $500 to see Elvis Costello stand there and play guitar. There's no light show. There's no bombasticness. It's him and his band that have been doing this it's like even to go see the Rolling Stones at $500 at this day and age is kind of stupid, in my opinion, obviously. But I mean, come on. That's why I didn't go to see Phil Collins. I saw a show on TV that he did where he did the soul stuff. It sucked. I wasn't going to spend that money to see him and then be totally disappointed. I love that guy. I want to keep him right where he was in the 80s and the early 90s. And you know, that I'm not spent. I didn't go to Tool. I didn't go to Rage Against the Machine. Peter Gabriel was ridiculous in price, and he's probably fantastic and deserves that ticket price that he was getting. Because there's a lot of
those are the bands I would buy 3 tickets, keep one and sell 2 for $3.
I'm not that smart.
I want to add something real quick. Is that I just saw Jake Shimamura and the Honolulu Orchestra, right?
Yeah.
10 rows back, $46, including service charge. 2.5 hour show, and they had 90 people on stage. What the hell? You know?
Yeah, and he's what the greatest
one of the greatest ever, but still
ukulele players, right? I mean, yeah.
But I go to Philharmonics anytime I can, and even in London, I saw the London Symphony, 2nd row for $70.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see, the rock and roll is a little bit jaded because they got 4 people and they're making fortunes, and the Philharmonic has 65 people on stage. They're making $3 an hour. So.
Yeah. I mean, the price of a ticket has less to do with the artist and more to do with the scale of the ability to sell and resell the ticket. And it's that digital ticket. It's the database itself. Remember, scalping used to be an art form. Now it can be done by a 10-year-old in a basement. They just got their mom and dad's credit card. They buy that many tickets and they resell them online. And the ticket company to make a charge on that every time.
Oh, yeah.
And the band. I don't think the band's getting that. I don't think they're getting the resale.
No,
but,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I really don't think they make as much as all of us think they do.
Well, on the ticket, it stated in the CBC News package that it was 90%. That's why. Okay, we all know. I mean, maybe I'm dispelling a myth or anybody, but I would think everybody knows this. That when the record companies ruled the world, the band didn't make anything on the sale of a record, unless the band got to be big enough to control their own destiny. All right, and that's a small margin in the grand scope of things. So the real way you make money is on tour. I get it, right? But I wouldn't have all of this if I was spending that kind of money per shows. And we were seeing what 20 to 25 shows a year. But I spent $400 on 20 shows, not one show. I mean, and I saw here.
Mark, what's the most you've ever spent for you and Sue on
300.
one show?
Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
She only played one time in North America that year. What are you gonna do?
And
right?
next to that, how much did you spend?
$100. I had to because we were already there. There were no tickets left, and the Art of the Scalper became available, and that was the Tragically Hip. And I sat in the front row for the last time they played a small venue.
For $100.
Yep.
Not bad at all.
No. Yeah. I just to give you an example. Well, I guess I don't want to get into anything else. Sue, do you? I mean, you've been kind of taking all this in. You remember all this?
Well, I do. I don't know that I have an opinion on it. I mean, it is what it is. Everything's gone up over time. I think for me, I don't mind, I mean, people charge you what they want to charge you for whatever they're selling you, whether it's product or service or whatever. I just hate the fees and all that, the extras. That's what's annoying to me. And just how difficult it is. You can't, like you're talking about these online scalpers. It's frustrating for people who go to buy a ticket and you can't because they're sold out in a minute, which kind of sucks too. And then you are paying double and triple and whatever. So that's my major problem. I'm all about the free concerts. We used to have a ton of free concerts in Buffalo.
Not as many
And
now.
then
All
the
done.
Thursdays in the square, and those
Yeah.
were kind of fun too. And there were people that, were just kind of going around and trying to get their name out there. And there
Radio
was
station
something,
did that with the up and coming bands too.
yes,
I'll
there was
get to
something
that.
nice about it. It didn't feel commercialized yet. It seemed like the artists were, and they probably weren't, well, I don't know, maybe they were having fun. They weren't all into the business yet. It was still about, getting their feet wet, getting to build up an audience. And so there's something to be said about that too. I don't know how it would feel if I was a singer, if I was an artist, and I was charging someone $500 a ticket. Like, you either think very highly of yourself and you're going to do like a perfect performance. That's like got to be a lot of stress too. I don't know, but
That's a good point. That's really a good point.
it's
Oh, John Mellencamp used to say he would have anxiety before shows, hoping that something would happen. Look at Barbara Streisand; she put teleprompters to not make a mistake. Yeah, I get the weight of what they do, because I kind of, not that I'm in their realm, but I mean, I get the idea of you have to perform, right? Something has to happen, and it has to be delivered on time, and it has to be decent. Well, in this case, I ruin it because I'm yelling and screaming.
I mean, a
But,
lot of concerts have turned into just playing on a stage to a theatrical performance. Like, it's all choreographed. So,
yeah.
I mean, there is more pressure when everything has to be timed perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also giving them more too.
Yep. Yeah. My one takeaway in this was, with prices where they are today, it's more and more important for shows like ours to introduce those new ones, those people that Sue was just talking about, that you can go see. All right. I'm going to give you, Jeff and Sue both in on this. I didn't spend hundreds of dollars to see Muse. I saw them in a club for 20, 25 bucks. All right. I saw Radiohead, nowhere near prices of that. I've seen the Tragically Hip at prices lower than that too. Metallica, I didn't pay hundreds of dollars to go see. Even now, cover bands, I saw the original band for less than what the cover band charges. So I'm not being selfish to our show here, but we want you to see more music, more local clubs, great venues, that intimate experience, as many of those as possible, to offset this idea, because that ticket price that we just talked about at $800, $900, $500, I understand disposable income. I've never been in that place that often. Maybe when I was in high school, at the end of high school, but it's always, you have to have a plan. You got to save insurance. There's all kinds of things out there that weigh on it. And now to spend that kind of money per show, if you go to see 10 shows
20
a year,
shows.
it's $5,000 to $20,000 a year.
But you know what's coming up right now a lot is, and this I think is going to be a huge factor, is that the pay-per-view is happening big time now. Garth is doing it, so you can watch the show live for 25 bucks and have all your friends around you.
Yeah. I watched a lot of YouTube live performances. And I think that it's nice. It reminds me, it gives me some sort of nostalgia, but I get that nostalgia because I saw the band actually live. Correct. Not having, you know what I mean? So
there's nothing like live. There's nothing like live.
Yeah. Go to your local show, buy tickets from them at the box office, pay cash, damn it. Wait a minute, what's cash? I don't know.
Do they take that anymore?
I don't know. Do they take cash? No. Anyway, I love the live show. The live show is how you connect with a band. We already had this discussion. It can really drive it home for you, and it's an experience with your friends or the people around you, or just how the band does change things live. If they don't, yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
Go to shows at bars and clubs.
Yeah, I remember Bryan Adams yelling out to a person in the third or fourth row at one of the shows we went to. He just says, "You sat down the whole show. You could have just stayed home and listened to the album. This is not what this is about." Right? I get it. I want to thank our panelists for doing this show with us tonight of Sound Minds. We'll return next month with this topic. Who are the most important musicians and bands in history? We'll have arguments, and then we'll try and figure out we can get a top 10, maybe, or top 5 out of it. We'll see how it goes. Check us out this Saturday for album reviews. Saturdays, The Howlers. Don't know them? We're going to talk about them. And, of course, Unknown Sunday coming up. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, articles, videos, podcasts, all about albums, artists, and bands. Please like, subscribe. I'm not charging you $1. You don't have to send me any funds or money. If you do so as a joke, that's fantastic. I'll send you a card back. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Go watch some live music, and thanks for watching. Happy listening.